Hi everyone and welcome back to Grade 12 Math with Mr. Simons, where we were looking at arithmetic sequence given with unknowns in the sequence. Right, and we're looking at November 2017, 2012, June 2019 and June 2021 papers. Right, so those papers they've asked this concept. So without further ado, first problem November 2017. The first three terms of arithmetic sequence are 2k minus 7, k plus 8 and 2k minus 1. So they state it's the arithmetic sequence, so we need to know that term 2 minus term 1 must equal term 3 minus term 2 for it to be arithmetic. Question, calculate the value of the 15th term of the sequence. Right, so we first need to know what's k before we can get to you're finding the Tn formula and then finding the 15th term. So term 2, k plus 8 minus term 1, which is 2k minus 7. So as soon as I have more than one term and there's a minus in front of it, make sure you put it in a bracket. That way you ensure you multiply the negative to both terms and not only one term. Term 3, 2k minus 1. Term 2 is k plus 8 because it's more than one term. I put it in brackets and a negative in front of it. So that k times negative 2k 8 negative times negative gives me positive 7, so 8 plus 7. 2k, negative times k, negative 1, negative times 8, negative 8. So k minus 2k gives me negative k. 2k minus k gives me k. If I bring it over, negative k. Minus 1 minus 8, negative 9. 8 plus 7 gives me 15. Bring it over, negative 15. So that would give me negative 2k equal negative 24. Negative 24 divided by negative 2 would give me then positive 12. So there 2 times 12 gives me 24 minus 7 gives me 17. 12 plus 8, 20. 2 times 12 is 24 minus 1 gives me 23. So there's my first three terms. Right, so 1 mark for correct substitution. 1 mark for k equal to 12 and 1 mark for the sequence. Right, so in my Tn formula, A is 17. D, 20 minus 17 gives me 3. And we want term 15, so the 15th term, N is 15. 15 minus 1 gives me 14. 14 times 3 would give me 42. Plus 17 would give me 59. So 1 mark for correct substitution, 1 mark for answer. 2.2.2, calculate the sum of the first 30 terms of the sequence for 4 marks. So first 30 terms, Sn formula, because they said sum, Sn equal n over 2, 2a plus n minus 1 times d. So sum to 30, n is 30 over 2, a was there 17, and d was 3. No? So 30 minus 1, 29 times 3 plus 34. Times 15 gives me 1,815. 1 mark for substituting 30 incorrectly, another mark for A, another mark for D, and 1 mark for the final answer. Right, so hope you follow. All right, let's look at the next questions. Right, November 2012. 2.1, 3x plus 1, 2x, 3x minus 4. Are the first three terms of a arithmetic sequence. So arithmetic sequence, term 2 minus term 1 must equal term 3 minus term 2. Right? Calculate the value of x. So there, term 2 minus term 1 equal term 3 minus term 2. Term 2 being 2x minus term 1, which is 2 terms. So therefore I put it in brackets. Term 3, 3x minus 7. Term 2, 2x, so negative 2x. I can't reiterate this too many times. I've marked this over and over, and learners keep on making the mistake where they go write this as minus 3x, but 1 stays as positive 1. So multiply in negative times 3x, negative 3x, and you see negative times positive 1 becomes negative 1, but most of you will leave it as positive 1. 3x minus 7, there I could have written it just as minus 2x. So if I take all my x's to the same side, I have 2x minus 3x plus 2x minus 3x. So 2x plus 2x is 4x, minus 3x minus 3x minus 6x plus 4x gives me minus 2x. The side I have minus 7. If I bring minus 1 over, plus 1, minus 7 plus 1, negative 6. Negative 6 divided by negative 2 and x equal to 3. So we write down the 3 terms. 3 times 3 would give me 9 plus 1 is 10. 2 times 3 is 6. And 3 times 3 is 9 minus 7 gives me 2. So my sequence 10, 6 and 2. So 1 mark there for correct substitution and 1 mark for x equal to 3. Right, the sequence I must just write in case they want me to solve something further. Right, let's look at the next set of questions. November 2012. They say the first and second terms of an arithmetic sequence are 10 and 6 respectively. So in theory 10, 6 going forth. Calculate the 11th term of the sequence. So A is 10, D would then be second term minus first term, 6 minus 10, which then gives me negative 4. Tn equal A plus n minus 1 times D, A being 10, D being negative 4. But we want term 11, so term 11, n becomes 11. 11 minus 1, 10, 10 times minus 4 gives me negative 40. Negative 40 plus 10 then gives me negative 30. 1 mark for correct substitution of A and D, 1 mark for correct answer. 2.2.2, they say the sum of the first n terms of the sequence is minus 560. Calculate n. Right, so we know A is 10, D equals 6 minus 10, which is negative 4. We want n if the sum is minus 560. So Sn is negative 560. We have n over 2, 2a, a being 10, n minus 1, and d being negative 4. So 1 for the correct formula, 2 marks for, 1 for negative 560, and 1 for a and d correctly substituted. Alright, so to get rid of the fraction, I'm going to get rid of the 2 by, it's n divided by 2. So to get rid of division, I use multiplication. So minus 560 times 2 would then give me minus 1120. Equal n, 2 times 10 is 20. Negative 4 times n gives me negative 4n. Negative 4 times negative 1 gives me positive 4. 20 plus 4 would give me 24 times n gives me 24n. Negative 4n times n becomes negative 4n squared. And if I bring negative 1120 over, becomes positive 1120. If I divide by the common factor, negative 4, negative 4n squared divided by negative 4 gives me n squared. 24 divided by negative 4 gives me negative 6. 1120 divided by negative 4 gives me negative 280. Factors there, n squared is n times n. Factors of 280, negative 20 times 14 gives me negative 280. But negative 20 plus 14 gives me negative 6. So n cannot equal negative 14. Remember, n must be an element of natural numbers or n equal to 20. Alright, let's look at the next exam question. June 2019. Again, the first 3 terms. Arithmetic sequence is 2p plus 3, p plus 6, and p minus 3. Show that p equal 11. So they said arithmetic sequence. So again, we're going to say term 2 minus term 1 must equal term 3 minus term 2. Right? So they have to be equal to each other for it to be a arithmetic sequence. So p plus 6 minus, they have got 2 terms, so I put it in a bracket, equal p minus 2 minus, they have 2 terms, so I put it in a bracket. So that p plus 6, that becomes negative 2p, negative times 3, negative 3. P minus 2, negative p, if I multiply out, negative 6. Alright, if I take all my p's to the same side, p minus 2p, negative p becomes plus p, and plus p becomes negative p. On the other side, I add minus 2 minus 6, 6 minus 3. So if I take it over, minus 6 plus 3. So p plus p is 2p minus 2p cancels, so I'm left with negative p. Negative 2 minus 6 gives me minus 8. Minus 6 gives me minus 14. Plus 3 then gives me negative 11. Divide by negative both sides, I have p equal 11. So there, 2 times 11, 22 plus 3, 25. 11 plus 6, 17. And 11 minus 2 gives me 9. So 1 mark for correct substitution. and another mark for p equal to 11. Right, now 3.1.2, calculate the smallest value of n for which Tn is less than negative 55. So we need to get the Tn formula. So Tn equal a plus n minus 1 times t less than negative 55. A being 25, t is 17 minus 25, which gives me negative 8, and I have n minus 8. Negative 8 times n, negative 8n, negative 8 times 1 gives me positive 8. Right, if I take 25 over negative 25, 55, negative 25 gives me negative 80. Right, there if I bring 8 over negative 80, negative 8 gives me negative 88. And there if I divide by negative 8, remember if I multiply or divide with a negative, my inequality sign changes. So there negative 88 divided by negative 80 and becomes greater than 11. So greater than 11 means term 12 will be the first term smaller than negative 55. So 1 for correct substitution, 1 for n in the correct inequality, and then 1 for my conclusion. All right, let's go to the next question. June 2021. Consider the sequence negative 11, 2 sine 3x, 15 going 1. Yes, I know. Using trigonometry, it's just a number pattern or a sequence. Determine the value of x in the interval 0 to 90 degrees for which the sequence will be arithmetic. So what degree value must I put in there to ensure that this stays a arithmetic sequence, meaning I'm adding and subtracting the same value. Right, so again, because they said arithmetic term 2 minus term 1 must equal term 3 minus term 2. So term 2, 2 sine 3x minus 11 equal 15 minus 2 sine 3x in brackets. So that becomes 2 sine 3x, negative times negative, plus 11. 15 minus 2 sine 3x. If I take that over, 2 sine 3x plus 2 sine 3x becomes 4 sine 3x. 15 minus 11 becomes 4. 4 divided by 4 gives me 1. So if I press shift sign 1, shift sign 1, or shift sign 4 over 4 if you're not following, then 3x would equal 90 degrees. 90 divided by 3, x equal to 30 degrees. So if I put in there 30, sine 3 times 1, 3 times 30 would give me 90, sine 90 is 1, 1 times 2 is 2. So minus 11 plus 13 would give me 2, 2 plus 13 would give me 15. Right, so I hope you follow, I hope you enjoy the lesson. Please like and subscribe. Please continue watching, please continue practicing. Give yourself a fair chance by practicing as much as possible between now and end of the year so that we improve and steadily get better and better in Jesus' name. All right, God bless. Bye.